Today we are going to start your chapter number 1 of physics and chapter number 10 of your NCERT book. Okay, this is your first chapter of the physics. In this chapter we will talk about motion and distance in respect to motion. What is the motion and what is the distance? Their relationship and the terms associated with these two things. Okay, so let's move forward to our very first slide, which tells us about the means of transportation. You are very well aware of means of transportation, the meaning of means of transportation. So means of transportation are the medium which carry us from one place to another, right? You are aware of these things. So let's go through it. Even since the ancient times, humans have devised different means of transportation. Okay? With the upgradation of the technology, we have upgraded our means of transportation with that also. Okay? From the cart to aeroplane, now bullet train, all of these things are upgradation of your means of transportation, right? They designed boats that resemble the shape of animal. Okay, right? They have boat-like structure. Boat have steam-shaped structure which help it to move in water, leaving in water to travel across the water, right? Bodies, they invented the wheel. First of all this transportation thing started after the invention of wheel, which is very common. You know that without wheel transportation is impossible, right? Which led to the invention of cart. First of all, cart or other animal-driven modes of transportation. Initially, we were depending on animals for the means of transportation. Camels, elephants, etc. We need those animals for the transportation. Okay? They used to carry that cart, right? We used to tie up the cart on the back of the animal, which and those animals carry our goods and us also from one place to another. So means of transportation in that time basically needed your wheel and animal, right? During the beginning of the 19th century, human designed the steam engine, right? Which was followed by automobiles, then motorized vehicles, then your car, then your aeroplane and everything after that. Now we are on top of the technology. We are still going further and further in the technology, and along with technology we are upgrading our means of transportation. You are well aware of that, okay? Right? Now let's talk about the most important topic of this chapter, that is motion. What is this motion? Let's go through it. A body is in state of rest when it does not change its position with respect to time. Suppose I am standing here, I am not moving. According to the science, I am motionless. For the physics, motion means when any body moves from one place to another place. Like this, if I am moving, then you can say that there is a motion going on, right? If I am standing still, even though I am moving my mouth, every part of my body is moving, still I am not in motion according to physics definition. So, for physics, the motion means any body which is moving with respect to time. Okay? Movement with respect to time is motion. The body is said to be in motion when it changes its position with respect to time. Right? Now, what is this rest now? Rest. All the stationary objects which are not in motion, anything which is not moving is in the state of rest. That is, do not change their place with the time, are said to be rest. Said to be in the position of rest. Okay? The things which are moving are said to be in the motion. The things which are not moving, that are stationary, they are known to be in the state of rest. Okay? Very clear? Next is unit of measurement. Measurement means the comparison of unknown quantity with some known quantity. This known quantity is fixed quantity and is called as unit. Okay? The unknown quantity and the known quantity, both of these things are known as unit of measurement. Okay, in measurement what we actually do is we compare the unknown quantity with the known quantity. That's all the measurement means. Okay, and the known quantity of course is fixed. We know that meaning we know the quantity already. That's why it's the known quantity is fixed, and that fixed quantity is your unit. Okay, the measurement. Now conventional method of measurement. It only approximate measurement. In the earlier times, when we actually basically we were depending on our body parts or few materials for the measurement. We were not aware of the metric scales, right? We don't have that much technology to measure accurately, so we were depending on our body part basically or the object for measurement in that time. So what are the method of measurement in that time? First was hand span. What is hand span? Length between tip of the thumb and the little finger. This tip of the thumb and the little finger, this is your hand span. People used to measure with the help of this hand span. Okay, second is cubit. Length between tip of the middle finger and the elbow. Tip of the middle finger and your elbow. This is cubit. Okay. Arm length. The length from shoulder to tip of the middle finger. This, the hole. This is cubit. This hole is arm length. Okay. Then foot step, the distance covered by a step. Now, what is the drawback of using this measurement? The drawback is all these things differ from person to person. Small babies have smaller fingers. They have different measurement of hand span, cubit, arm length and foot step. So, the result of this methods is not accurate. Right? That's why we don't use them nowadays. But what is the need of standard unit of measurement? Units such as hand span, foot span and cubit vary depending on size of one's hand and foot, which vary from person to person. Okay? So, it can cause confusion in the measurement. Standard unit of measurement. It is a unit of measuring any unit completely and uniformly. The standard unit will give you accurate result which is uniform throughout the globe. It do not vary with person to person. It is fixed. That's why we use it nowadays. Standard unit for measuring length is meter. Standard unit of measuring mass is kilogram. Standard unit of measuring time is second, which is fixed. Okay. The System International of Unit or better known as SI unit. Okay. It gives the standardization of all the measurement. Now SI unit in October 1960, the 12th General Conference on Weight and Measurement, right, adopt the international system of unit to maintain uniformity. Okay, so that the unit or this measurement will not vary from place to place. For the uniformity, they made this SI unit. Okay, all over the world, this system of unit is known as SI unit, and we use this SI unit for measurements. Okay. Now the GPS system, you are well aware of GPS system. You have Android phone, you are using Google Maps, so you are well aware of GPS system. Introduced in these days accurately to measure the distance from one place to another. We use GPS to measure the distance nowadays. Okay. Arbitrary ways to measure the length or the width. The measuring using hand span or measurement by a string were used in ancient time. We used to measure the things with hand span, which we have discussed just now. Plus, we used to use the string to measure the distance. Standardized length measurement. Okay, how do we standardize the measurement of length? Okay, so scientists from different part of the world, they come to this point that they need a standardized unit to measure the length, so that the measurement have a uniformity all over the globe. Okay, and that unit is known as SI unit, which we are using nowadays. So the international system of unit, which is also known as SI unit, which we have talked about, was set up as a convention for measurement worldwide, so that or the people all over the globe can use the same unit, so that a uniformity can be maintained for the measurement all over the globe. Okay, a meter is SI unit of length. It has 100 division. Okay, if we divide a meter into 100 division, the each division will be centimeter. Centi means 100. Okay, when we divide meter into centimeter, we just divide a meter into 100 equal part. That 100 equal part is centimeter. That's how we convert the units. Okay, division called centimeter. To measure larger distance, we use kilometer. Kilo means 1000. Okay, if we multiply meter into 1000, it will be kilometer. Okay, this is simple math, nothing else. Okay, now zero error. What is this zero error? So in this part, we will discuss how can we measure using a scale, using a meter scale. So what we need? A scale. Okay, and suppose we are measuring a length. So what step should we take to measure the length? So zero error and a correct way to measure the length. Scale must be in contact with the line which you are going to measure. Both of these things will be aligned. You cannot measure a line which is drawn somewhere there and you are using scale like this. No, you need both of these things need to be in contact for the measurement. Okay, so they must be in contact. Okay, secondly, if the scale are broken from the side, suppose the scale is broken from the side, or the zero mark of your scale is broken, what will you do? If you measure with that scale only, it will lead to zero error, right? It will not give you correct measurement. So the measurement from the different mark must be carried out. If correct reading will be obtained, okay, then what will you do? You can take 1 as your initial reading, and you will just suppose your line is of 10 centimeter, and you are measuring it with 1 as your initial reading, because 0 is broken down of your scale. What will you do? You have to subtract 1 from your final reading also, because you have taken 1 as your initial reading. To get the proper or the correct answer, you have to subtract 1 from the final result to get the accurate measurement. Okay, so that your answer will not carry the zero error. The correct reading will be obtained by subtracting the value from the full mark considered as the zero. Okay, now because you have considered 1 as your zero, while measuring I must be in exactly above point. This is very important. Your eye position should be exactly above the point where the measurement is taken in order to avoid parallax error. What is this parallax error? First error is zero error, when your scale is broken down from the, or your zero mark is broken down. Second error is parallax error. You have to avoid this parallax error. But what is this parallax error? So parallax error is nothing but the displacement or change in the apparent position of the object when you view it from the different point of view. Suppose you want to view anything by closing this eye. Again, you want to view by closing this eye. Both of the results will be inaccurate. That's why you have two eyes. Okay, you have to use your two eyes to get the clear picture of anything. Okay, in the same way, if you view anything from that point or that point, it will give you parallax error, incorrect result. Your eye must be directly above the measurement. Then only you can view the correct measurement. Otherwise, your answer will carry parallax error. Error due to wrong position of your eye is parallax error. Okay. Now next is correct way to use a meter scale. First step, keep the scale in a contact with the object which we have discussed. Start measuring from the zero mark, and if your zero mark is broken, then we have discussed what we have to do. Avoid taking incorrect measurement. The eye position should be correct. That position just above the measurement. Okay, this is the that points that you should keep in your mind while measuring. Now, what will you do, or how will you measure a curved line? How to measure curved line? Okay, so curved line cannot be measured using meter scale because we cannot bend the meter scale. A string or a thread can be used to measure a curved line by creating a knot. Just create a knot in your thread. Okay, on one hand and keep that at beginning. Suppose here, keep that tire node, keep it at beginning of the line which you have to measure. Okay. One can trace the curve line. Then this line can be stretched out and measured with the help of meter scale. Suppose you are measuring this with the help of a thread. Tie a knot and keep that knot here on the initial position. Then stretch your thread. Okay. Now keep this measurement in your hands and you can measure the exact length using a meter scale. Right? You can do that for measuring curved lines. Suppose the tailors are using the measuring tape. Okay, that is also alternative because it can bend. You cannot measure your proportion for clothes using meter scale because your body have curves. That's why we need meters that curve measuring scale, right? And we call it inchy tape also, right? And we use thread for that. Okay. Then length can be stretched out or measured with the help of meter scale. Measuring tape can be used to find length of a curved object. Example, girth of a trunk of a tree or length of a snake. Length of a snake is also having curved surfaces. That's why we use either measuring tape or we use a thread to do the same thing. Okay. Now types of motion. This is the last part of the chapter in which we will discuss types of motion. We know what motion is. We know how to measure this motion. Now types of motion. Okay. Rectilinear motion. First motion is rectilinear motion. When an object moves along a straight line, it is said to be undergoing rectilinear motion. Okay. Example, train moving along a railway track. Second is when you are moving in a line, it is a rectilinear motion. Circular motion. Circular motion is movement along with a circle. Easy. Example, hands of a clock show this kind of motion. Okay. Third is periodic motion. What is this periodic motion? When motion repeats itself after a fixed interval of time, that motion is periodic motion. When object repeats its motion after a fixed period of time. Example, pendulum. Have you seen that pendulum clock? It will repeat itself after a fixed interval of time. Right? Have you seen that mirror of a sewing machine? It also repeats its motion after a particular time, after a constant time. That also shows periodic motion. Now rotational motion. This motion can be easily understood by the imagining earth rotation. Motion like this is a rotational motion. Okay, when earth spins on its own axis, it is undergoing rotational motion. So motion along with that object, when object is moving along with its own axis. Suppose a ball moving like this, it is spinning. Spinning of a ball is an example of rotational motion. Okay. Next, combination of motion. Because we are living in a real world. In real world, motion is always in combined form. Okay. So in some situation, motion of an object may be combination of two or more motion. For example, motion of a ball on a ground. The motion of a ball on the ground, the ball is rotating on its own axis plus its axis itself is moving along a straight line. It's also moving like this plus it's moving like this. So two types of motions are there: rectilinear motion plus rotational motion. Okay. So motion of a earth. The earth is rotating on its own axis plus it's revolving around the sun. It also shows two types of motion. Okay. Rotation and revolution. So that's all for this chapter. One more thing is there: distance and displacement. What is the distance? Distance is that length between two particular area. Suppose you are moving from here to here. The distance, the length between these two areas is your distance. And what is the displacement? Displacement is the minimum path taken by you to reach from point A to B. Again, distance is all the path which you have taken. All the path can be your distance, but displacement is the shortest distance that is gained by you. So I can say that all the distance, all the displacements are the distance, because even shortest path is a path. Okay, so all the displacements are your distance, but all your distance are not your displacement. Okay, suppose this is A and this is point B, and you have to reach from A to B. Shortest distance between these two is a straight line. Straight line is always gives you the shortest distance, or I can say that displacement. But you can take longer path. You can take path like this. All of these paths are distance, and the minimum path between these two is your displacement. Okay. Now, first question of now we'll take NCERT question. Very first question is give two example of each mode of the transportation: land, train and bus, water, ship and boat, air, helicopter and airplane. Okay, very easy. Next is fill up. 1 meter is 100 centimeter. 5 kilometer is just multiply it by 1000, so 5000 meter. Motion of a child on a swing shows periodic motion. The motion of a needle in a swing machine is periodic, which we have discussed. Motion of a wheel of a bicycle is a circular motion. Okay. Now next, why can a pace or a footstep not be used as a standard unit of length? Because pace or footstep cannot be used as a standard unit of length because it varies from person to person. Example, maybe that person is having longer leg or wider feet. So it varies from person to person. That's why we cannot use it as standard unit of measurement. Arrange the following length in their increasing magnitude. So obviously millimeter is the smallest, then your centimeter, then your meter is kilometer. Kilo means 1000 of a meter. Centi is when meter is divided by 100. Division always gives smaller unit. And when we divide meter by 1000, it will give you a millimeter. All of these units are taken with reference to meters because meter is SI unit. Okay. The height of a person is 1.65 meter. Express it into centimeter and millimeter. Very easy. This is meter for centimeter. You just have to multiply. You are going from bigger unit to smaller unit. For that you need to multiply. Just multiply it by 100. It will give 165 centimeter. And for millimeter, just multiply it by 1000. It will give you 1650 millimeter. Okay. When you are going from bigger unit to smaller, you have to multiply. And when you have to go from smaller to bigger unit, you have to divide. Okay. This is the basic math. Distance between Radha home and her school is 3250 meter. Express it in form of kilometer. So 1 kilometer is 1000 meter. So you just need to divide this time. You have to divide 3250 meter is equal to 3.25 kilometer. Right? Here we are going from smaller to higher unit. You just need to divide, and the relationship between meter and kilometer is 1000. So you have to divide it by 1000. Very easy. Okay? Very simple mathematics. While measuring length of a knitting needle, the reading of the scale of one end is 3.0 centimeter and other end is 33.1 centimeter. What is the length of the needle? You just need to subtract these two lengths because otherwise your measurement will carry zero error. That's why you have to minus or subtract these two units because 3 centimeter is taken as 0. Okay, so you need to subtract it from your final reading to get accurate result, which we have discussed. Write the similarities and difference between motion of a bicycle and a ceiling fan that has been switched on. Motion of a bicycle and ceiling fan which is switched on. So similarities show circular motion. Both are moving in a circle. Differences: bicycle wheels move in a rectilinear motion also. Along with circle, it is moving in a rectilinear motion. While fan do not show rectilinear motion. It is showing periodic motion. It is repeating its motion after a fixed interval of time. So, similarity is circular motion. Difference is bicycle wheel showing rectilinear motion, and your circle that ceiling fan do not show rectilinear motion. Okay. Why would you not like to use measuring tape made up of a plastic material like rubber to measure distance? What would would be some of the problem you would meet in telling someone about distance to measure with such tape? So answer is elastic measuring tape will not give you accurate measurement as it stretches in that length and reducing in size when stretched. When we stretch elastic tape, it will change its shape. We cannot use such material to measure which can change its shape because we need to standardize the measurement. But we are talking about throughout the chapter, standardizing the length. So if you are using elastic material, it will change your result. Okay, when we express measurement taken with elastic tape, we have to tell whether the tape was stretched. If yes, if your tape is stretched, then how much, and hence it is very difficult to tell the measurement taken with an elastic tape. So the answer is incorrect. That's why we are not using elastic tape. Give an example of periodic motion. Needle of a sewing machine and pendulum are example of your periodic motion. Okay, that's all for now, and we will discuss other topics in next video. Till then, take care. Bye.